Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? Now that the debate for the limitations and high restrictions for the upcoming LR Gohan and LR Perfect Cell has been, heavily discussed, and a lot of people are definitely upset about it with every right to do so. I've been thinking about it, and I think Bandai or Dokkan Battle just needs to introduce at some point a brand new units that pretty much have a skill set like an active skill where you can pretty much force a transformation for any transforming units on the team. They kind of try to do this with the Android 16 making that unit a requirement to be on a team, but while it does make sense as kind of a tribute to the manga and anime as to why that is the case, it does make things a little bit difficult, especially the HP restriction part for both Gohan and Cell, because you're gonna tend to want to run a pretty good team, and in today's age of Dokkan Battle, it's gonna be difficult to get that HP level down sometimes. But let's just go ahead and talk about that, because honestly, the starting point is basically talking about the active skill or transformation requirements for both the units. So let's talk about Gohan first. The active skill, which is basically the transformation for Super Saiyan 2, can be activated when HP is 58% or less with Android 16 on the team, or when HP is 58% or less with an existing Android's category ally or enemy starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. Now, again, it makes sense as to why they made Android 16 a requirement, and I'm pretty sure this guy will do just fine on the Android/Cell Saga category setup, but you gotta understand, there are way more categories that this guy falls into, like Hyper Saiyan's full power transformation boost, Goku's family, Yu's Super Saiyan, and the brand new Kamehameha category coming out. But Android 16 is not going to fall into some of the categories you want to run, so without including him on the team, it's severely limited to either having some sort of other Android, or forcing pretty much an Android category ally on the team, or facing that type of enemy. So it does highly restrict the ability to transform. Now, looking at it from Cell's standpoint, it's pretty much just a flat out his evolution will take place when HP is 30% or below. Now, 30% or less is very, very difficult to manage, especially if you're running some very good teams. A lot of the categories that this guy is on will have, HP recovery abilities based on some of the units you want to bring. It's just optimal to bring those types of units, not only because of their HP recovery skill sets, but they're damn good units to begin with on certain categories. There are a lot of categories this guy falls on, and depending on the team build, chances are you are going to struggle with the 30% or less restriction to evolve, I guess is the right word. So it really did get me thinking that eventually Dokkan Battle needs some sort of unit, and I recommend it be like an active skill where after like 3 turns, basically you can activate said unit's active skill to where all the active skill basically is pretty much allows the ability for every transforming unit on the team to be able to transform automatically without any of the HP restrictions or turn restrictions. Now, with that being said, you do want a unit that falls into a versatile type of categories and various team builds. So, what I thought when thinking about this is you're really going to need both a super type and an extreme type. So basically 2 different units that have this ability, so you can run a variety of setups regardless of, the typing or class, I guess you can call it, or even like team build. So you definitely want to make this unit who has this active skill ability units that fall into quite a few categories. Basically, that's the whole point. And again, as long as I think 3 turns is reasonable to wait for the active turn to be able to be fulfilled. And with that being said, it doesn't really matter if it's on the rotation or not. I mean, just allow it to transform. I mean, I guess it could work if they have to be on rotation in order for transforming units to actually transform. I think you could essentially use them as floaters or whatever, and that would work as well. But looking at how these guys rolled out in terms of the stats themselves, it just really begs the question that, this really needs to happen. I mean, again, Cell is 30% or less in HP levels in order to evolve. And then Gohan, you have to have pretty much Android 16 on the team with HP being 58% or less. If you don't fulfill that requirement, then you're essentially going to have to force in an Android's category ally or just be facing an enemy. But the bad part about that is HP also has to be 58% or less, and it can only be activated from the 5th turn from the start of battle. So it's severely limited in terms of the types of battles you can run this guy on. Again, I get why they did that, but at the same time, they could have found a middle ground for this. Not, restrict it to a certain degree, but not to this level. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much my input on this. I think really they just need to introduce a new mechanic where it's a transform all type active skill. It doesn't even need to be a passive skill, honestly. It'd be very nice if it was, but I think it would make things a little bit way too easy. So to find some sort of middle ground, that's why I'm thinking an active skill that you can use after 3 turns from the start of battle. Pretty much either, it automatically gives the ability for every transforming unit to transform. On or not on a rotation, that's debatable, but something like that really needs to happen. Again, Android 16, the way they rolled that out as a requirement for Gohan, not only does that make sense from the manga standpoint, but I think they kind of tried that setup where certain units have to be on the team in order to transform the units. Given that said, it's just that Android 16 does not fall into a lot of the categories that Gohan could be on, so that's the limitation with that. So I really wanted to throw this out there. I think it would honestly help tremendously if something like this rolled out. So that's really my take on that. And I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Would that work? Would that actually optimize things a little bit? I think it would personally, but definitely leave your thoughts and let me know how you think. Okay, thanks for watching, and catch you guys later. All right, peace out.